Hello, good afternoon. My name is Roberto Parrondo. I'm the Business Services Coordinator at CEI Asturias. First of all, I want to welcome you all to this interesting panel about Asturias, a startup, and paradise. Three words that summarize Asturias is one of the best locations to initiate a business project. So this panel is about discovery and evolution. It's about tradition, but also innovation. And it's about resources and it's about opportunities. All the ingredients that you can find or any startup can find in Asturias. So open your mind and be ready to discover a new Asturias. So ladies and gentlemen, with all of you, Cristina Fanjul, Managing Director of CEI Asturias.
Thank you, Roberto. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for attending this session. Thank you very much for coming here to hear about as Roberto said, our news about Asturias. First of all, let me say that it's a pleasure to be here, an honor to be here in the really heart of the startup ecosystem here today in South Summit. I'm Cristina Fanjul. I'm proud director of CEI Asturias, Business Innovation Center Asturias, and I'm here to talk about a new Asturias, a new way to present a region who is able to reinvent itself. I am here to talk about a new Asturias because probably many of you are aware and you know which is our touristic claim. Our touristic claim is Asturias, natural paradise. And it's true, it's entirely true, and we are really proud of it. But we want more. We want to also be known as a startup paradise. And why do we think that a green region just over the mountains on the north coast of Spain could be a good place for business, for innovation, for startups? There are hundreds of reasons, but I'm going to tell you today 6 reasons to start in Asturias. First reason, the strategic location for business of Asturias. As I said before, Asturias is on the north coast of Spain. We are a region, an Atlantic and green region. Probably this is not the region, the Mediterranean part that most of people from abroad Spain have in mind. But we are a region, green, just over the mountains with 1 million inhabitants and really proud of its industrial tradition. Still today, the industrial wave of the GDP is about 20%. This means it's really above the average. And we are proud of the industrial tradition because there's still a lot of opportunities coming from this idea of having a really industrial tissue. We can to really keep the leadership of industrial tradition by the means of innovation, by the means of contacting with startups, open innovation programs. I think really to be an industrial region is an asset who can still give a lot of opportunities. But when talking about the strategic location, we are sure that you want to have the headquarters in one region, but to really need is a place to be able to conquer the world from. And we need to talk about connectivity. What about physical connectivity? Yeah, we are a region, 4 hours driving from Madrid. We are really proud that finally the high-speed train is coming to Asturias at the end of this year. So I think all the Asturian people really is very proud of this. We have flights to every part in Spain with direct flight connection with Madrid, with Barcelona, and some other international connections are coming. And finally, the port. We are a maritime region, which means that for logistics, the port of Gijón, the port of Avilés still plays a very good role in the logistics of merchandises. But we're talking about connectivity. It's not everything about the physical connectivity. We are talking also about the virtual connectivity. At the moment in Asturias, we have a coverage for virtual broadband of about 97%, which means the average connections in Asturias is 7 points above the average in Spain. Physical connection, virtual connection, Let's talk about one success case on logistics. Amazon is now working in Asturias trying to create a main logistics centers. So I think Amazon knows about logistics, so it means that probably food for thought. All the Asturian people claims a lot for the connection, but the fact that Amazon has chosen Asturias as one of the main headquarters in Spain, I think means a lot. But it's not everything about location, because once you are in a location, what you really want is to be business competitive. Let me talk about the situation in Asturias. We have three main cities in Asturias. All of them are located in the central part of Asturias. What does it mean? We have 3 regions, 3 cities. Let's say the average is a medium average of size, but together the 3, we are able to create the 7th metropolitan area in Asturias. What does it mean? It means that all the investment in marketing, all the investment about a lot of things are created by the fact that the metropolitan area of Asturias really functions like a kind of unity. This is important because we are able to keep, let's say, a good quality of life, because the average size of the cities is good, but all together, all creates this 7th metropolitan area. This is a graphic. You need to believe me, because probably it's a question of faith. You cannot being able to understand. But it's a relationship between prices and wages. What does it mean that Asturias is really below the line? It means that the relation between the wages and the quality of life is very good, because we can do more with less. This means that for business competitiveness, the wages are competitive, but we can still ensure the quality of life of the workers. This is very good. This is probably the reason why more than 150 companies from abroad has chosen Asturias as part of their work centers. Companies able to work in different sectors as transport and chemical, pharmaceutical, in really a lot of places. So probably this relationship between wages and prices is a good thing to consider to start in Asturias. But on the other hand, what is the more important thing when talking about business competition? It's not everything about the location. It's about talent. Don't we think? Anything is possible without people, with talent, with creativity, able to really develop the things we have in mind. And we are proud in Asturias to be the 3rd region in Spain for the attraction of talent and the retention of talent, and the 4th region for availability of engineers and researchers. This is important because today we are all talking about innovation, we are all talking about technology-based company, and probably the availability of talented people is one of the main reasons to really start in Asturias. And this is the reason probably why there's a growing community of technology-based, of a startup community in Asturias. Around the SEI Asturias, around the entity I represent, there are more than 200 startups able to work in different areas, able to work in different technologies, but a very lively community who have also a kind of survival rate more than 20 points above the average of Spain. But it's not all about the companies, the community. To really be competitive in a place as Asturias, we need to have infrastructure. We need to have business support programs. And we are also proud to say that in Asturias, we have business centers, able to really host this kind of business. This, in the picture, is the bio incubator located in the Technology Park of Asturias. It's really, our offices of SEI Asturias are there. This means that we have laboratories, we have common equipment to really, that bio companies could really work from a lab without making any early investment in the equipment. This is important because the clusters in bioscience, the clusters around life science, it's important in Asturias, it's growing, and the support of the government about these infrastructures is also important to really consolidate this trend. But it's not everything about bio. We have also infrastructure able to work in Industry 4.0. As I said before, the region still has a very good tradition in industrial. We have the AS5 Hub, which is a new concept of building about the open innovation concept, and we are really working in also creating some programs, acceleration programs, vertical acceleration programs in emerging areas who really can mobilize the tissue, mobilize the entrepreneurs. For example, the Asturias Mobility Innovation Hub is one of the acceleration programs we have in SEI Asturias, and also, as I said before, the BioSEI for biotechnology for life science. But the public impulse, the public pushing is not enough. We really need to have private people who is really able to invest and to create innovation poles when really the talent people really makes this technology landing in the talent. We have these innovation poles, very private innovation poles, for example, the Bedrock, around the topic of artificial intelligence, a cloud of companies able to use the artificial intelligence techniques and able to apply in audiovisual, able to apply in human analytics, able to apply in different sectors, because there are a kind of private clusters around Bedrock, about La Pipa, which all these people, talent people, willing to put these competences in for the business sector. We also have, as I said before, we are a green region, so the rural and the green things are still important for us. In the picture of the right, we have the tribu of Danny from Sapiens, which is probably a person that you probably know. They are able to create a kind of community of digital nomads in the mountains of Somiedo, a very beautiful place in Asturias, where all these people is connecting and they are creating a kind of innovation pole just over the mountains in Somiedo. We have also different programs with, for example, CAPSA, which is Central Lechera Asturiana, probably is one of the brands, the Asturian brands most known in Spain. And also La Granja from CAPSA is also investing in having programs about food, innovation, laboratory, etc. So I think the agro-food and the rural and the green, especially with these emerging trends, especially with the arrival of new technologies and new innovation, are still a good things to develop in Asturias. But the money, what about the money? What about, practical support for people? It is true that aligning with all this support, with all these programs, supporting programs and modeling programs, there's also the question of really bets and have some programs for investing. And we have here a pack that can arrive to 400,000 euros for people who is willing to invest and to create an innovation, a very innovative, high technology company in Asturias. It's true that we are not going to put this money, on the table just on the first moment you arrive to Asturias, but we are able to invest through different stages, through different programs, and through different tools to invest this quantity of money. This is important because as a really local ecosystem, we are aware that this kind of things could create a kind of advantage competitive for the rest of the regions. So with this aid, we are able to give some subsidies for the first stages. We are able to give some grants, in different stages, in different phases. And as I said before, everything around giving the money is not only about the financing, but it's also to give some other programs, supporting programs like business model, IP, internationalization, and so on. And how to arrive, how to really go for this. You are lucky. We have an open call at the moment. We have an open call for the Asturias Startup Fund. The call is open at the moment. It's open regularly, which means that at the moment you are able to submit your proposal, your project, until the end of the month. The last day of the month, the 30th of June, will be the deadline to present a program, but don't worry. After this call, it will come another call. And in any case, if you are really considering, if you are checking the possibility to really consider Asturias as a place to really invest, please contact us. We are a lot of people here. We have an stage in the main room, and we will be more than happy to give you more details on how to really take advantage of this possibility. And finally, we also care about you, about your quality of life. And let me say that Asturias is one of the places with the best quality of life in the world. I will say probably there's a lot of things that people here in Spain take for granted, yeah, because we are really proud to be in a nation, in a country where probably our standard about safety, our standards about a lot of things are probably not the average. But let me think that when we are in contact with people coming from different ecosystems, one of the things they really value the most is the quality of life. As I said before, we are medium-sized cities, which means very good quality of life. But besides all of this, we have the safest city in Spain, which means Gijón is always top ranking, is the third, but the same for Oviedo, which is the capital city, one of the safest. But the safety is not only about, being in the streets. The safety is also, we are more, the region with the more transparent public administration. So we are always also top ranking in the transparency ranking. So this is one of the reasons. The other reason is everything about leisure, sport. We really care about your quality of life. Probably for many of you, going skiing in the morning and then going to surfing in the afternoon will be probably a kind of dream. And this is possible in Asturias. And I probably, besides every entrepreneur, there's a surfer, there's a skiing, and this is the type of region we can do really in a region like Asturias. Just to end, let me put a video about Asturias. If probably this speech is not enough, probably the pictures you can see are one of the main reasons. Let's go for the video.
Actually so cool.